brochure?
Yeah, we'll just go to the website.
Oh, we're just gonna do this one, manipulate it.
Yeah, we're looking at it. We're looking at it.
Let me get some pictures of this. Okay, we're gonna send those to our west. Back, we'll see if Myers down there. Yeah, 17 feet down. Steps. So we're gonna
Good afternoon. This is Noah Gutierrez with Diversified Product Development, joining you today for this LineWise product webinar of the TLL-300. The 300 has a couple of variations that we're going to go through today, and joining me today is Dave Packybush, and he will be part of these webinars, and we're going to try to schedule him to where he can be here with us with every webinar that we put on. And so he comes from a background in the electric utility industry, and he knows a lot about what happens out in the electric utility industry, and helps us to make some good decisions on directions we need to go with the products. And so it's very valuable for me to have him here in these meetings. So today, without further ado, this is a new product that we're going to be getting into. We presented it briefly before the Utility Expo there in Louisville, Kentucky, and we had it there. It was kind of a premature thing. We weren't quite ready to go to production with it, but we wanted everybody to be able to see what was going to be coming out here in the near future. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and navigate over to the website to see what the 300, the TLL-300 is and what it can do. So just like with every one of our other triple line lifters, we start off with the letters TLL for a triple line lifter. And the 300 in this case represents the capacity per phase. So this is officially one of our distribution products, right?
Right, yes.
So this distribution arm is an economical arm that attaches to a digger derrick or a bucket truck for distribution work below 34.5 kV. The letters that were placed on it, Dave, tell us a little about that. It's the 300 B.
B for bucket and D for digger. So it makes it fairly easy to navigate around. So if you want to talk bucket trucks or digger derricks, so we can differentiate a little bit. There's a little bit of difference. The 300D for the digger is capable of vertical construction work, where the B is not. We couldn't get the load capacities. The bucket trucks don't have the capacity to be able to reach out that far in front of them to be able to work vertical. So we can get there with the D because of the mass that we're using, but with the material handling jibs and then the little short extension we have, we can't get the buckets. We can't get them to do vertical.
Now the 300B for bucket truck, what is going to be the limitation on that? Can we place it on Altic and Terex buckets?
Right. Yes. Anything that'll have a capacity of 900 pounds, we're going to be able to get there. So if you got a little tiny bucket that can't handle a guy in the bucket or two guys in the bucket and 900 pounds of capacity, then your extra capacity, you're not going to be able to get there.
Gotcha. Now, would you share with everyone, Dave, about how we intend to attach the 300B for use on the bucket truck?
On the buckets, it's going to come with a short 3-foot long piece of fiberglass that we manufacture, and it'll pin into your material handling jib on your bucket truck, and then our cross arm will pin to the end of that and give you your 36-inch clear span. We have to do that because we don't know what condition these material handling jibs are in, and we don't feel comfortable using them for primary phase to ground protection if we don't know what condition they're in. So we're giving them a 3-foot piece of fiberglass that they can have dielectrically tested, and it will be dielectrically tested before we send it out in the field. So it gives us a little bit better feeling on the capabilities of it. So
Very good. So with sufficient capacity, we can use this on an Altec bucket truck or a Terex bucket
use it
truck.
on anybody.
There's also some bucket trucks being manufactured out in Canada. I forget the name.
Posi Plus.
Posi Plus, that's the one. So as long as any one of these bucket truck manufacturers has the needed capacity, you will be able to use the TLL-300B on the bucket trucks.
Yep, we will be able to get there. So it doesn't matter what kind of adapter you'll have to have. We can build you something for it.
Very good. And then the D is for
Digger, and there again, if you've got the capacity, we can get you there. Now, the A model digger derricks made by somebody with letter A, there's some small ones of them that we can't put anything on. Because the heads are so small and so lightweight, there's no capacity left. So yeah, we can't put anything on it. But the normal diggers, you know, of the Terex and the Elliots and anybody else, we can get there. So.
Very good. And so you may be asking the question, well, how are we going to know how to use that our bucket truck is going to work with this, or this digger derrick is going to work with this product? Well, the best thing to do is you get us the models of the digger derricks or the bucket trucks that you're using. Maybe you can get us a photo of the range diagram or load chart that is on your digger derrick or bucket truck. Email that to one of us here at Diversified or LineWise, I should say, and then you can find those email addresses on the line-wise.com website. So some of the specifications, as you can see, is it's 300 pounds per phase for all 3 phases there. So that's 900 pounds total capacity, as Dave Packerbush was saying. The max phase spacing is 7 foot 6 inches on the B, and on the D, it's 9 foot 2 inches for a max and a minimum of 4'7". I didn't say the minimum on the 300B, which is 3'9". Minimum phase spacing outside to outside, center to outside. So outside to outside is going to be the 1 foot 10 inches on the B, and then the center to outside will be 11 inches. On the 300D, we got outside to outside, you have 1 foot 10. Center to outside will be 11 inches there as well. Total unit weight with the 8-foot cross arm with 36-inch clear span on the B model will be 110 pounds, very light. When you go to the 300D with a 10-foot cross arm and a 12-inch mast, you got 135 pounds. With a 30-inch mast, you're looking at 146 pounds. And then the adapters are going to vary in weight depending on which digger derrick you're placing it on the D model. Looking down there a little bit further, we got the face to ground of 36 inches, as Dave mentioned earlier. None of these arms are going to have the hydraulic articulation.
No.
This is all manual.
This is all manual right now. Yep.
And the main purpose behind that is we're trying to keep this very light for the distribution crews, right?
And yes, very light and lower the cost of it. So you start adding hydraulics and all that, it makes the cost go way out of sight. So trying to be economical with the cost of it and keep the weight down, especially for the bucket trucks.
That's right. What else do we have here to see? We got the actual some of the features here, which is Dave, you'll share some of those with us here.
Yeah, the 300B, I would say direct replacement for the competitor's 3-phase lift assembly. We think we're better than that in several areas, but they say the bucket truck part mounts to the material handling jib, cross arm pin to the mast. The cross arm can rotate 15 degrees each direction from 0 in line with the boom, or 15 degrees each direction from 90 degrees to the boom. So you don't have to be exactly 90 degrees to the line to be able to use the product. Of course, the cross arms and the mast are a hollow fiberglass, right? With our desiccant canister system in them. And they are fiberglass for dielectric property. But anyway, they can be certified, they will be certified at the voltages that you need. We're using the standard test of 100K per foot kV rating. It takes 10 minutes or so to set this thing up. 2 linemen at 100 and some pounds. It's good to have 2 people. Wires requires no cross bracing to reach the full capacity. With our glass, we always use square or rectangular glass with our components, with our units. One of the reasons we do this is so that the wire holders won't twist around like they will on the ones that are round glass. We've heard that there are some issues, and I've seen it, that the wire holders, if they're not tightened all the way, will actually twist and it'll capture the wire and damage the wire, and you can't get it out. It also, as you're trying to tighten this on the round ones, if you're trying to tighten it, you're actually crushing the glass at times.
Yeah.
And you don't get a very long life out of it if you're really ranking down on it. Ours don't have that problem because, like I say, we use square glass, so we don't have that problem of trying to resist the twist. Ours are made so that the square takes it all the twist that you want to put in to it. The like I say, with the D, we can accommodate vertical and horizontal at 300 pounds capacity per phase. We have 100 pounds of side load. Each one of these is 100 pounds of side load. So that's pushing it or pulling the conductors away from the way they want to hang. With the B model, of course, it's horizontal only, and you still got the 300 pounds per position and 100 pounds each per for side load.
Adjustment, as you can see on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side there, as Dave mentioned, there's no tools required, right?
Nope,
to work
no
with
tools
our
required.
product.
You can do this adjustment with them with rubber gloves if you need to, and it's every 3 inches. So you can adjust the spacing in between the wire holders every 3 inches. So you see those little lugs hanging down there. You can either be in between them, or we've actually got a cutout in the wire holder, the bottom of it, so it'll go in between it. It'll actually fit up on that. So you've got every 3 inches of adjustment.
So pop a couple of latches, slide it down, lock the latches up, and you're ready to go. Very good. There towards the bottom there, you can see that it's also used for vertical construction, as Dave has already mentioned. Same load rating, once again, 300 pounds per wire holder, 100 pounds side pull per wire holder. There's a pin that you pull, and the wire holders go from pointing straight out to pointing straight up. So now you can go work with vertical construction. To my knowledge, Dave, this is the only product of this nature, as some people may call it, an auxiliary arm in the industry, that will work with vertical construction at this voltage size, right?
We're the only ones that I know of that have anything that could work vertical construction.
So if you've got vertical construction in your area, this is a product you need to be considering for your distribution, 34.5 kV and below. Let's see what else we have here on this page that I think that's about it. It's a very simple product.
Simple.
Yep. In fact, I was thinking before this webinar, I was thinking, man, it's probably gonna be the shortest webinar we've ever had, unless there's a lot of questions. There's not very many moving parts to this. It's a very simple product. It's like I said, it's one of the newest products that we're putting out from LineWise. There is new products coming out all the time. And this is something that we are excited to be bringing out. We know that there's a lot of opportunity in the distribution market, distribution voltages for this size of a product. So at this time, if you have any questions, we open up the opportunity, any questions, comments. Maybe there's something that we've missed. This, like I said, this was at the Utility Expo just a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. I lose track of time nowadays as I get a little bit younger. And so, older that is.
Yeah.
And so, but it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were at Utility Expo.
2 weeks ago, we were at Lyman's Rodeo.
And 2 weeks ago at Lyman's Rodeo, that's right. So if you had visited us there or saw it there, and you got some comments that you'd like to share, if you're on this call today, we welcome you to speak up at this time.
Hey, Noah and Dave, this is Rick. How y'all doing?
Good, sir.
I got a few questions, maybe 3 or 4. So is there any accommodation for one, adding insulators between the arm and the hooks, or the wire holder you call it? And then secondly, is there any accommodation for adding rollers? Some guys may want to use this product during the stringing process to prevent the sag, you know, when you're going across a roadway or something like that, where they could get more height out of the, you know, the truck, of course, versus the structure during the pulling of the wire process. And then thirdly, what is the approximate sell price of the unit, and what's the availability between now and the end of the year?
Well, number one, we've got an old boy we're talking to about some adding insulation on the cross arm. If the customer would like some extra insulation on the wire holder, between the wire holder and the slider of the wire holder, we are talking to some people about that. We haven't had anybody asking if we could do that, but it's doable if we have to. All it's going to take is somebody wanting to do it. Let's see, what was the other?
The other ones was rollers.
Yeah, we can. Of course, it's going to add cost to it, add a little weight. We were really shooting for the market of low cost, right? Taking cost as much out of it as we can. If we develop the wire holder or use the wire holder with rollers, it's just going to put cost in it. And for the most part, we know that you're not going to be using it to move lines around. Of course, you know, we've got the guard arm for guard structures. If somebody wanted to, we're always open. If somebody wants to add something to this, if they want a roller added to these things, sure, we can do it. We could probably adapt it for the little chance wire holder that we have. It's going to add some weight to it and that kind of thing. But yeah, we can do it. And then production for the rest of the year.
So right now, what we were looking at is it would probably not be available before the end of the year. It's going to be probably January timeframe when we're ready to start shipping these units out.
And of course, that's one of the problems with that is getting the glass and components. Everybody's running way behind on getting us fiberglass and components.
Now, last I heard on lead time on fiberglass, just to back up what Dave is saying, I think we were out, 12 weeks on glass. So compared to some of the people that can't ship stuff till 2023, like I heard in one conversation this morning, that's not too bad. I mean, at 12 weeks, you're about what, 3 months. And so that place, and the fiberglass should already be on order. And so we're going to a little bit ahead of the game to get some of the components here. Right now, the biggest concern that we've had is getting the adapters designed quickly enough, because what we've had to date are very heavy adapters for products that have heavier capacities. For example, the TLL-300, which is 500 pounds per phase, and then 500 pounds of side pull per phase. So that adapter has to be able to take all of that loading. Well, what we're doing is we're redesigning all those adapters to work with the 300D so that this way we'll have a lighter adapter. Less capacity needed means the plates on the adapters can be thinner and not have to take so much of a strain. So that's what we're working towards now. Right now, the release date for those adapters is currently setting at November 17th. Last I checked just yesterday, I believe it was. And so that we get parts ordered in here so we can start shipping units by January.
And as far as pricing, we can quote these now, and the price would be good through January, February time, whenever they're ready to be delivered, correct?
That is correct. Now, keep in mind, as the market changes and material changes, there's going to be certain lead times possibly on certain things that, not lead times, but pricing that might change. And so those prices might only be held for certain times. So I don't know about so much holding it to the end of the year. It depends on what we get presented to in sales. For example, we're seeing people that give us quotes that say that that price is only good for 3 or 4 days.
I've had 48 hours.
For 48 hours, even in some cases. So I think we can hold it on the fiberglass. The fiberglass is more controlled than any other one of our components that we place into all of our products. Although they are charging us more for fiberglass nowadays, I believe we can have a pretty good handle on the pricing on this 300 model.
Now on the fiberglass, all of our fiberglass for these things are made at Waco Boom, which is just across town from us.
That's right.
So we've got a really good working relationship with them. And our fiberglass is not sitting on a boat somewhere trying to wait to be offloaded.
That's right. It's more people trying to get it made fast enough and
Yeah.
out the door along with all their other customers. Good questions, Rick. And to be more direct with your question on the price, I'm going to say yes, we can hold that price.
Okay, thank you guys. All right, I'll give somebody else a chance to talk now.
We always appreciate your comments and your questions, Rick. You're very involved in everything that you say to it in these calls is very valuable to us, and we appreciate that. And appreciate your participation as well. Others, questions, comments, concerns?
Come on, people, give me a question. I was going to have to start dancing for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my guitar tomorrow and I'll do a song and dance. If there's no one else,
Yep.
this will probably be our shortest webinar ever. 20 minutes.
Congratulations.
Hey, I got one more. I got one
All
more.
right.
I was just giving somebody the chance to talk besides myself for once in a while.
Okay.
Switching topics here on the line rollers for the JLG 1255s, the new 12-foot arms, right? The question is, can you attach that and angle the roller such that it doesn't exceed the width of the unit for transportation purposes?
So you'd be rotating it around so it's in line with the unit? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It can't be perfectly in line because of the head and the hook.
Right,
So you can move it until it
If
almost hits. And then what would the width of that be for transportation purposes?
Look at it. If it adjusts like a normal guard arm does, if we have the same adjustment, then you can get, not directly in line, but you can get pretty straight. You can really, because that's how we send them out, ship them out to make it as narrow as possible. We'll turn it around as far as we can until it hits the stops. So yeah, you should be able to do that to reduce the width. And you can always, if you have to, you can take it off and have it sitting strapped to the trailer and then have the JLG loaded up and then unload it and come around and grab your guard arm and take it off from there.
Yeah, I was out there this morning. I kind of concluded the same thing. I just wasn't sure if we were saying that we suggest you doing that or not. So it sounds like the answer to that's yes. And I sort of concluded the same thing this morning. It looked like it would be inside the width of the machine. And as long as the length of the trailer obviously didn't affect anything, because the guys are normally carrying the what do you call it? The forks mounted to the front of them, right? The two fork, like a forklift. And though it's no longer than that, moving out of the front of the machine. So.
Yeah, agreed.
And we're gonna be able to deliver 6 of those, right, Noah?
Yes, sir. Get an order in
All
hand this week.
Yep.
Okay, no problem.
Yep. POs talk.
Okay. Good information, good questions. If there's no other questions, no other comments, then I guess we'll be done for the day. We have another presentation tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. As always, we do 2 of these back to back on Thursdays and Fridays every 3 weeks, trying to talk about a different product every time. And it may not always be a product. It may be a question about a product, or it might be address something about capacities, and I don't know, but something pertaining to the LineWise product line. If it's not just a particular product, maybe it's several questions. We want to hear from you and see how we can help better inform you of the LineWise product line and things that can help help the product line do better in the industry. Our ultimate goal is to keep everybody safe, or make things safer and get everybody home at night to their families. And that's what drives the LineWise product line. So,
So I got one more for you.
yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
For the TLL-300 D, do we have one available right now for demonstration?
We had one.
We have one.
We had the one that we had at the Utility Expo.
The only
Yeah.
trick to that right now is that the adapter for that one is on General 65 by Terex. And why do I say that's the only trick to that? Is because a General 65 is a transmission digger derrick, in my opinion. Or it's right at the border of that. And so not everybody is going to use a General 65 with a distribution arm for up to 34.5 kV. That being said, that adapter is very heavy because that was the only thing we had designed at the time for the Utility Expo. So if somebody had a General 65 and if they wanted to see the 300D, that is an option that we could pull off fairly quickly.
Okay, yeah, for mine, it's going to be an Altec digger down at Florida Power and Light. You're going to get that question tomorrow at 11:30 or whenever you're done with the intro talk. So
Yeah.
I wanted you to be prepared to answer that question for tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, boys, thank you.
No problem. As a point of interest, Rick, that adapter is the first one on the list for the Altec. That was I was in there with engineering when they pulled that drawing number and assigned it to a designer to get it downsized to work with the 300D and lighten it up. So that's going to be the first one that we have out next to the General 65 one that we have now. All right, well, if there's nobody else, if you want somebody else to see this as well, invite them to join us tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central Time to see the 300, the TLL, LineWise TLL 300B and D. Until then, and next time, stay safe out there. We look forward to hearing your comments about today's webinar. Have a great day.